got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle,
Jingle jangle,
as I go riding merrily along.
jingle jangle,
And they sing, oh, ain't you glad you're single?
jingle jangle,
And that song ain't so very far from wrong.
jingle jangle.
Oh, Lily Bell,
Oh, Lily Bell,
oh, Lily Bell,
oh, Lily Bell.
though I may have done some fooling, this is why I never fell. 'Cause I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle,
Jingle jangle,
as I go riding merrily along.
jingle jangle,
And they sing, oh, ain't you glad you're single?
jingle jangle,
And that song ain't so very far from wrong.
jingle jangle.
We're live. Welcome to Digital Renegade Podcast. I'm your host, Ashton Grove, and I'm with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
And hey, Rick, right? Just so someone knows, I'm sorry about causing the whole machine uprising. It's almost like stealing people's data and giving it to a hyper-intelligent AI as part of an unregulated tech monopoly was a bad thing.
Yeah, that wasn't your best thought.
Who's that? What's that from?
The Mitchells versus the Machines. It's an animated movie. It's an animated movie that's never going to be in theaters.
That I would love to see it. I might watch that. We got a request from Triple X. He said, you should do a Renegade riff on the last American version, the Scott Pilgrim of the 80s. I will look into that because I'm a big fan of the 80s, even though I never lived in the 80s. The 80s, like, let me just say this about the 80s. The 80s were the magical years of yesteryear that the millennials never got to see. Like, I grew up in a household that had Super Nintendo and the SNES. The SNES and the Nintendo's entertainment system were already there for me. Why? Because my grandmother bought it for my father. Now, my father and my mother, they were adults of the 80s. They were boomers. But, again, as a 90s kid, I never got access to... don't spoil it, please. With all due respect to Giant Minky, don't spoil it, okay? Don't spoil it, Triple X. I'm going to do it later on. The main character is Giant Beta. He helps get his crush get an abortion. Okay. As much as you want me to riff it, I want to go into it blind. So I appreciate you giving me the synopsis, but like at the same time, I'm willing to. And by the way, you get a since you're on this channel, you also get mod status. Thank you, because I recognize you. Yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome. But we're gonna definitely do that. The last American version, which and then I guess that means even I got laid before he did. So I don't know. But yeah, welcome everyone. So today today's podcast is basically it's titled "Gotham is not beyond saving," and the reasoning behind why I decided to make this title is because I'm seeing a disproportionate amount of these fucking YouTubers like Tim Pool, Roman Millennial, and even Sargon of Akkad now, who are just totally fucking blackpilled to the point where they're like, oh no, the SJWs have gotten into power, we're all gonna die. Ooh, you know. If you want to go get Wolf and Pepper, welcome. He says, if you want to go into it blind, I can get you some welding goggles. No, I have some. I actually found some. I could have gotten them, but I didn't get them. But one of the things I wanted to get into before we get into the big topic of today, what happened to your other account? My other account is basically it has 2 strikes on it right now. So I don't want to risk that. I don't want 300 subscribers down the drain. That being said, Luke, I'm going to send you a link to my other channel. If you could take a look into that real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I'll send you a link. Subscribe to this. Subscribe to PewDiePie, but also subscribe to this particular channel here. If you haven't, if you're watching this, please subscribe. This is my backup channel. This is the channel that I'm going to be doing all my, innovative and wrong think crap on for now. But at the same time, I'm waiting until those 2 strikes are gone because I am not risking it in 2021. Okay, so even if I have to make multiple backups, I can do that. And even then, like if my content is good enough, people will hunt down my content. That's how I see it. But before we get into the whole, Gotham is not beyond savings. You got the time count. You got the timeout corner. Yeah, I did get the timeout corner.
Dashing Rogue was a very bad boy.
I'm a very naughty boy. I'm very naughty, so I had to be put in timeout because I'm just a horrible human being. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and you just call me Dashing if you want, it don't really matter. One of the things I'm going to talk about, and I talk about this every year, this happens, I've actually done this every year since it's happened, since I can remember, to be honest, is a little thing called the Santa Clara Citywide Cleanup. And what that is, it's an annual cleanup campaign. So, Luke, I've sent you a link to a couple of items I found, but I wanted to show this and illustrate exactly why, I do this every year. Now, what this basically is, there's a little map at the bottom, and I want that to be pointed out to everybody else. I'll send you a link back in 1 second. Here you go, Luke. Put this on the screen. For those of you who live in the Silicon Valley, and for those of you who are in the Bay Area, this is something that I've done every single year. And what it is it's basically a map of Santa Clara, and what they do is the city allows people to put whatever they want, old furniture, plants, computer electronics, whatever it might be, out on the side of the road. Now, and they do this for a whole month. It usually was between March and April, but because of the whole COVID crap, and I guess climate change, I don't know if that's what they're using as well as an excuse, but essentially what they're doing now is they're saying that you could put stuff out on the side of the road during the month of May. That means that there's no more April showers or anything like that. But again, right where Montague Expressway is in Lafayette, that's right near Sun Microsystems. I have found SSDs. I have found gateway switches. I have found, like today, Luke, can you show them the clip I sent you via Skype? I found an i7 6700 today, and I found a motherboard that went with it. And I don't know if it works or not, but the fact that I found basically a $200 piece of hardware out in the, just out there, because let's be frank, people are upgrading their computers despite the fact that the computer really doesn't need to be upgraded anymore. Once you get a freaking, it's i7 nowadays, just upgrade the GPU every single time, and you'll find something new. So yeah, that's what I found right there. I found that, and I took out the bad. I just took everything out of the thing, unplugged it, took it to my car, walked away. And again, this stuff is there. You could pick the stuff up, and it's just yours. You can just take it. There are certain rules, however. You can go. You cannot dump, but you can take whatever you want, and you have to leave the site. You have to leave the site cleaner than you found it. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I would recommend anybody who's in the Santa Clara area, the Silicon Valley area, this is the time that you can go and you can pick up through the rich people's trash, essentially, and the stuff they don't want. So I found 2 Blu-ray disc drives, so I can put that in my computer. I found a Blu-ray rewritable drive, which I'm going to be picking up. I'm going to be testing tonight, hopefully. And I found actually, let's see if I can find it here. If I can find it, I can post it here. I found a mechanical keyboard as well. It's a Logitech G76. I think it's right here. It's a Cherry MX Brown keyboard. It works, by the way. It's the Logitech G710 Plus keyboard. I have one of those and it works. I just picked it up and took it. It's like what, a $30 fucking keyboard? G710 Plus keyboard. Right here. Yeah, it's going for like refurbished on eBay for $30. So even if you were to pick this stuff up and you were to sell it on eBay, which is what I oftentimes do, is I just find stuff that works, test it. Doesn't work, throw it away. It does work, sell it on eBay, and you get a little bit of money. It's a great way of making money, and the yeah, that's what I found. It's really good stuff.
Nice.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. I will take pictures this year because I'll tell you, there's one thing that I've learned to be is how I've survived in this valley for so long is I have to be resourceful. Look at the Blu-ray drives. Some of them are good for ripping PS3 games and such. I will look into that myself. I might very well do that because, again, the only Blu-ray player I have is a PS3. But these two, I have a Blu-ray reader and I have a Blu-ray writer that I picked up just today.
The only difficulty is actually finding a good PS3 game.
Well, again, I'm a guy who likes playing my Metal Gear. But even then, again, the last console I ever purchased was a GameCube. I'm a PC Master Race guy, believe it or not. keep an eye out for a truck winch for me. Then I will look into that for you because I found a lot of good stuff that I just didn't want to take. I found a bunch of gaming chairs. Some of them were broken. Some of them were just gross, which I'm not gonna. I can look for this for you, man. I don't know how I'm gonna get it for you, Wolf. But there's stuff out there. I found a card engine out there before. There's a lot of just junk. Okay, one man's junk is another man's treasure. I can get you the program for defeating DRM. No, not on the record. Okay, maybe in Minecraft, but not on the record. All right, Minecraft story mode. But that being said, I did my public service announcement. For those of you who want to actually go out and get this stuff, you can do it. I would recommend you do. Link will be in the description. If you're in the area, of course. But yeah, one of the things I'm going to talk about is this black pill shit that we're seeing constantly. And this is like a 5-hour interview between Sargon and Louis Laveau. But if you really start listening to some of the shit that Sargon starts talking about in this, you're going to realize these fuckers are so like black pilled with their outlook on things. Like, here you go, Luke. This is about an hour in. We're just going to start listening to it, all right? Here you go. Like, Sargon is like, just let everything burn. Just let everything burn. Oh, the cops needed to go on strike. The cops do not need to go on strike. I am absolutely against cops going on strike. In fact, I'm of the opinion that we, instead of asking the cops to go on strike, these sons of bitching, YouTube millionaires and billionaires need to start shilling and buying these motherfucking cops some pizza parties. And I'm not saying like Pizzagate pizza parties. I mean like actually going down to Little Caesars or Costco, buy the whole fucking department a pizza and give them a gift card. Say, hey, we appreciate what you do. Do with this whatever you want. But at least, again, they may not be able to take it on the record, but you could definitely give it to them and just say, hey, do this whatever you want. It's up to you. I want to donate it because I want to show how much I appreciate your work. But again, Carl, man, like seriously. What the fuck is between him, Roaming Millennial, and Tim Pool, which again, all these bastards have in common is they're all basically, connected to they don't have day jobs. Louis Laveau, Beckloff, me, we all have day jobs. Luke, you have a day job. We do this in our spare time. We have a connection to the culture. These motherfuckers, these political pundits, they don't have a connection. They don't have anything. So yeah, it is the end of the world for them because it literally is the end of the world for them because they don't have a fucking job. They're gonna get hunted down by these fucking Beijing Biter supporters. Play it, Luke.
That's why they go. Why would the Biden administration go so hard after the guy who sat in Nancy Pelosi's chair? Because he's an example. He's the thing that needs to be exterminated, and that's what they're going to do. It's not going to stop, and they're going to get worse. And so the right really better fucking start thinking about how actually they're going to get out of this tremendously unadvantageous position that they find themselves in. That's what they have to do.
Well,
because otherwise they're just going to get exterminated.
I've already said this before, but the first thing that must be done is the removal of...
Sorry. Someone in the chat says we control the farms. Bullshit, do you? Bill Gates controls your fucking farms. Look it up. I'm not even joking. It's mad. These people have everything.
He is so
you don't understand. They've won. If this was a video game, I'd just concede and start a new game.
Well, because you're a fucking pussy. You're literally a limey pansy. And by the way, I'm getting sick and tired. Like, it's one... Tim Pool has an excuse because Tim Pool grew up here and he has like he's living in the fucking woods, right? Rolling Millennial, fucking Sargon of Akkad, even Lauren Southern, they have no goddamn connection to this culture. They have no fucking connection. These people are, whether it be the Canadians or the British, they come over to our country. They start commenting like they're like one of us because they speak English or some shit like that. That's literally what the only common connection these fuckers have. What's this, Luke?
Oh, it's the final decision scene from We Happy Few, and it's actually a black pill. It says, "Would you rather not want to forget and go back?"
It's a real black pill.
Yeah,
wow.
it's they're always high on drugs, and so they have a special drug. So this guy who's on the security guard who's on the border, he's like the last chance you have to escape. But he says maybe you just can't handle it. Maybe you should. Would you rather not want to just forget and go back?
Yeah, dude. No. I'm sorry. Once you wake up, no.
Here's the clip.
perhaps these people are not you. Are you sure you don't wish to forget and go back?
I was happy before, wasn't I?
And that's where your last decision is made.
Yeah, and you know, to me, honestly, it's not a decision. I mean, I played that game, and I'm actually might do a Let's Play because I haven't finished the game yet. And there's all the DLC is out. But from what I understand, it's basically an alternate timeline where I guess the Operation Valkyrie succeeded, and Hitler died, and then I think it was what the hell's this guy's name? It was Tom Cruise's character from Valkyrie. He's the guy, the one-eyed motherfucker. Not Bridget von Hammerschmark. Oh, that's a fucking Quentin Tarantino character. Stauffenberg. Klaus von Stauffenberg. Yeah. He fucking kills Hitler and he takes over the regime, right? And so basically they fight the British and they beat the British into submission. And then, of course, the British apparently have to give up their kids. And the kids go to the concentration camps and they die. And so instead of having to deal with that, they basically go on the whole Huxley route. They go the whole Aldous Huxley. Let's go get jazzed up on fucking Soma and shit. It's basically Brave New World, okay? But it's basically like it's Brave New World, but in the 1960s. So like it has a very 60s groovy aesthetic sort of thing. But the main point of why I think I would never take that black pill is because there's no one growing anything anymore. There's no food. Everyone's just high as a kite all the time. There's no groceries. There's nothing coming in. Everyone's just blitzed out of their fucking mind. And of course, you know, it's in the water. It's every fucking where. And, you know, it's well, I'll have to play it sometime. And I might.
Because especially for the main character, he realized he did something. The reason why he's always drugged up is because he did something he can't forgive himself for. And when he's no longer drugged at this point, he remembers what it was, and he's not sure if he can carry on with his life.
Yeah, apparently, like, I want me to spoil it because I've seen. Again, I'm one of those people who doesn't like playing games. Just like I don't like watching movies. I just watch like film comic explained or movies explained or whatever, where they explain like the horror movie ending. So that way I just watch it and get the spoilers without actually going and shelling out the money to go see it. That's sort of how I've been playing life as of that. But you know, going out there and actually being a part of a game experience, again, that costs money, and I didn't have a lot of money as of yet. And even then, like, most of us don't want to go on the experience. Most of us just want to play a game, put it down, and move on. That's what Call of Duty is for. That's what Minecraft. That's what fucking. That's what pretty much any casual game is. I'd say yes, Call of Duty is a casual game now. It wasn't always, but it's basically become a casual game. So, from what I understand, it's because his brother is autistic, and he was supposed to go on the train, but he let his brother go on first instead, and the kid didn't know any better, and the kid basically gets taken away. So instead of going to the gas chambers, Arthur goes. Instead of Arthur going to the gas chambers, it's his Percy, I believe. How do I remember these kids' fucking names? How do I remember these characters' names that I can't remember my own fucking algebra table? Or mathematics. How the fuck does that work? I don't know. But be that as it may, yeah. Do you take the blue pill or do you take the black pill? Or no, or not the blue pill. Do you take the red pill or the black pill? That's basically what it is, and that is a very British-looking man right there. Look at that British jaw. Anyhow, but be that as it may.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
I mean, they do control a lot, but it's just a matter of. It seems like the things that they do control are like a decent number of them are losing power, and the ones that they don't, they aren't basically pumping money into, like the universities, for example. If the money cuts off, it's over. They're done.
It's not going to happen.
No,
Biden will bail them out when they need money. Look at Biden. Can we have $200 billion or whatever it is? And Biden go, we've got to save these prestigious universities. Never go. Yeah, of course we do. Of course we do. I graduated from that fucking university so I can spread Marxist propaganda.
I think that what you fail to do is anticipate the reaction of the counter-revolution and slowly but surely understanding the problem.
Maybe, but it's the time is very short.
No, the time is longer than you think. I mean, are there going to be a lot more? Is there going to be a lot more that likely comes from this? Yes, but the fact is that when like I say, when you look at the strengths of both sides, I put money on our side because
then how is it you're losing?
Because we're playing catch up.
Why are you playing catch up if you're so much stronger? That's the thing, right? I agree on an individual level. A right winger is a better human being than a leftist, right? Obviously, there's no question of it. The left are like anti-ethics. Like listen to Vorsh literally being like, well, look, let the pedos beat you to death. I don't want a stack of dead pedos. Like what? That's the most desirable.
Well, no,
way
I mean,
to be,
most of the people like him are fucking liars. People like him are fucking liars.
I know, but it doesn't matter, right? What matters is they fucking control everything. They're fucking doing what they want.
They control all of the culture, but they don't control everything.
All of the culture, all of the institutions, all of the government,
all the corporations.
And every time they say leftist, they say Jew. Because, I mean, that's kind of what Sargon is getting at right now. He's kind of becoming like this. Like, he is so black-pilled. And again, link will be in the description for those of you who want to watch it. I don't want to let Louis get his freaking... Let the preacher preach. But at the same time, again, Sargon, what the fuck? And this is not just Sargon. I mean, this is the guy who's basically the latest victim of the fucking black pill. But it's not just him, but everybody is saying, just let everything burn, let Rome burn. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what these bitches all have in common? They're not American. They have all this money that was gone through hipster welfare, so they don't actually know how to earn shit. But to prove a point, and this was linked to me by Wolfman Prepper, by the way. What's this, Luke? What is this?
Note to end on is how all of these fillers are prestigious economic slots. They really don't want you to be armed. And I was thinking about this because all their power comes from hijacking a natural monopoly within the fiber optic cable lines. But outside of that, they're nothing. They're flesh and blood, just like you and me, and can be taken down. I want to be careful. I'm not advocating anything, but I'm just saying, just sort of as a descriptive, blunt, matter-of-fact thing, they can be taken down with a bullet, just like you and me. And so fighting them.
Yeah, this is why if they start coming after guns, I'm leaving California. That's one of the things you have to understand. I am going to, again. There's something you have to understand about guns. They are my property. They may be weapons, but they are still my property. Now, consider it for the fact, because I'm holding my 1911. Consider it for the fact, and by the way, it is unloaded. Don't worry, I checked everything. There's nothing in the chamber. It's all good. So, if they could take my guns, they could also take my iPad. If they could take my iPad, they could also take everything else that I own. The gun is the final piece. The gun is the bridge too far. They come after my guns, whether it be my 1911, my Colt 45, my whatever it might be. They come after it. That's when you start pushing back. And I'm gonna go. And at that point, I'm gonna head over to Arizona because I'll tell you this: Arizona, they're kicking ass. They're actually starting to recount the votes. You hear about that, Luke?
I've been following it this whole time.
What do you know? What do you know about it? Tell me more.
A week into it, they're going through the number. I mean, it's going to be like a whole month until it gets all the ballots done. But basically, the fact that every single minute on the news is just wall-to-wall propaganda, and that Rachel Maddow took time out of her schedule to look at, that's an indication she's worried. I mean, Sticks Hexenhammer's not looking for, doesn't think anything's happened, but at this point, I'm confident that we'll find out that Biden didn't win Arizona.
Yeah, and the real question is going to be, and this is where where there actually might be armed conflict, is when we actually challenge Beijing Biden's fucking claim to fame. No, literally, we will that is the real question. Who is going to have the balls to say, you lied? You are not you do not represent the people. You do not represent them. You lied. What's going to happen?
The issue is though that Arizona's vote wouldn't technically turn the election, but Arizona's audits will be the indicators that Georgia and all the other states do their audits as well. Everyone's looking at Arizona, what happens now.
And I hope to God you guys, I really do pray for you guys, because I want you fuckers to do it, and I want to find out, because I know for a fact that motherfucker did not get what he got. Do we have to buy into the notion that piece of shit Beijing Biden is basically the guy who, well, let's be frank, we have to buy into the fact that he had a bigger turnout than Obama. That's just never gonna fucking happen. Biden was the guy in the background. He was the fucking snarf of the Thundercats, okay? That's what he is. He's not something special. He's not something magical. He's a piece of shit who was literally riding the coattails of Obama. Okay? That's what he is. Wolfram Pepper says, there is more than guns, by the way. Guns are for defensive and taking objectives, but they don't themselves win wars. You're absolutely right. there's a reason why I purchased my fucking Prius. It's because the Prius actually can get me out of California, and even then, I can pull it up here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. The Prius in the Apocalypse. Let's see, Prius. All right. The Prius is the best apocalyptic vehicle. This is a fucking joke, by the way. I don't know if this is a joke or not. Range, capability, durability, make a car. We typically don't think about perfect in this situation, which, by the way, they have a fucking, I guess it's a Vulcan cannon attached to the top of the Prius. That will never fucking work. Don't ever try that. Get yourself an, what is it called? A XM556, I believe. It's basically a minigun that fires 5.56, and you could basically hold it within your own. It's not the M134, I believe, or M137, I believe it is. The minigun that fires 308. No, this fires 5.56, and it actually does exist. So let's see. Here you go, Luke. You can plug this up. And this was not part of the original. We're just going we're shooting off the cuff because again, I was very busy this week. But yeah, the Prius is the best apocalyptic vehicle. Blame it on Mad Max or The Road or The Walking Dead. I've spent some time mulling over the idea of what makes the best apocalypse vehicle. I've come to the conclusion. Yeah, what?
Why? It's an electric car. It's a hybrid.
Well, no, hang on. First off, it's not a hybrid. Okay, you don't plug it into a wall. That's something you have to understand about the Prius. It generates its own energy through a motor, electric motor. So, like for example, when I'm out there, I drive and then I take the foot off the pedal. It generates electricity and recharges the battery. So even when I have no gas in my tank, I could still operate the electric battery. You have to understand. You got to understand that's what that is. Now, again, the best apocalyptic vehicle in the apocalypse is the one you have. All right. So this is basically just LARPing at the end of the day. But they talk about maybe the signals cabin feeder setting in, or maybe it's brilliant. Either way, let's go run down the checklist, starting with the range. Current Prius, which is good. This is in 2020, by the way. What the fuck? Why is it in 2020? What the hell? Yeah, you can stick with your Jeep all you want. That's fine, Wolf. I would stick with the Jeep too. Again, it depends where you're going. Okay, if I'm going into the desert, I'm gonna take the fucking Prius. If I'm going into the mountains and the hills, I'll take your Jeep. Fucking take a Humvee if I could. But yeah, again, the best car you have is the one you have. Just like the best gun you can have is the one that you have, depending on if you have a choice. So, like, if you're actually going out and sniping someone, you might want to get yourself an M40, whatever the hell it is, Scout, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it is. I've been looking into long-range firearms, by the way, mostly because I don't know. I just, again, I'm buying guns specifically because I want to have them as an investment. Like a lot of things, like we're gonna have hyperinflation soon. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Whether it be the current Prius has an 11.3 gallon fuel capacity. The EPA rating is 50 miles per gallon. The thing can cover an astounding 565 miles on a single tank of gas, which your mileage may vary depending on how fast you go. But yeah, this is basically what the best apocalyptic vehicle they say it is. But I don't know. But Luke, what would you take in your? Would you probably take your Camry, or what would you do?
Yeah, for fuel or mileage, obviously the Camry is the best thing to have. But of course, as far as surviving like some sort of attack, I imagine it would be something like resembling a truck or a van.
Right. Like honestly, I would. The only thing I want to get is some bulletproof tires and some bulletproof fucking glass on my Prius. Like that's the main thing I'm concerned about. I honestly am not very aerodynamic in that fucking thing. I'm not. Like I'm not going very fast. Even then, I feel kind of sluggish in that thing. But compared to that, and then let's continue with the whole Sargon of Akkad thing if you can. Let's continue with that just a bit.
Sober.
Not much.
Exactly. They're already putting the transgender propaganda into the army and stuff like this. It's like, oh god, here we fucking go.
Well, honestly, the thing is
the right needs to get off his ass.
I agree with you, but you also have to understand that they are destabilizing whatever it is that they're invading.
They love destabilization.
Fine, well that's good for us. That's good for us.
No, well,
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes.
Why?
Because the less it's very clear that the less stable something is, the less useful it is for them. And it's also
they want everything destabilized. They thrive on destabilization. Like, look what they've done to the black community. The black community votes so overwhelmingly Democrat, but it's the Democrats that have done this to them. And it's like, fuck, how is that happening? It's because of the seductive nature of the narrative. They can just turn you into a victim. You'll do anything they say.
Fine.
And
Okay.
I think that there's a real chance of that just being a sort of widespread.
and if, let's say, the government collapses, where do all the Gibbs go? The Gibbs are gone. There are no more Gibbs. And who does that help? Us.
They'll set up. No, they will just set up big razor wire compounds and fucking shoot you. Oh, got a hostile heading towards the food. Bang! That's for we the people. You know, Joe Biden. Did you listen to Joe Biden's speech? The people's us, the government. It's like, are you fucking mad? He's literally saying that the people within the armed compound are the people from the Constitution.
The point
it's
is
pure fascism, and it's terrifying.
I know, but in order for
no, stop saying but, man. Fuck's sake, stop saying but. Like the situation is not just as bad as I'm saying, but fucking worse. Right? We've got to stop this fucking pope on the right.
No, seriously, like again, I cannot stress how many people are fucking black-pilled about just, you know, this whole Beijing Biden thing. I've told people, you know, again, this whole pandemic woke people up. When I was out at the grocery store, they were talking about, you know, crypto. I was talking to somebody about crypto all of a sudden, and they were saying, I hope we don't go to crypto, because then, you know, at least I have cash and I can have some level of anonymity. Wolf and Pepper says they only thrive in destabilization because the right is too autistic to not play by the rules, even the rules do not apply. Well, let me just say this about that, Wolf. Like, have you ever seen The Walking Dead? Because I actually have this little counterculture signal, or countercasting, I guess, notion. There's the notion of ACAB, all cops are bastards, right? Or all cops are bad, I guess it would be the easier term. I like to say ACAN. ACAN. What does that stand for, Luke? All cops are Negan. all cops are Negan. They are. What did Negan do? What was why did he rise to power to begin with? He rose to power because he was a strong man in a time when you needed a strong man. What did he do? He kept away all the walkers, and all he asked for was half of your shit. That's a good fucking. That's actually a really good position to be in a post-apocalyptic scenario. I stopped at season 4, but yes. Again, I stopped at season 2, and I just skipped ahead and just started watching clips. Like that's something you have to understand. I think the real big problem is no one has the time to fucking keep up with all this shit, right? So most of us, like when I stopped watching Game of Thrones, was like right after season 4 or 5, I think. And then I just started watching YouTube highlights. And there's no point in watching the whole fucking series. Why the fuck would I do that when I can just watch the good parts, you know? But yeah, all cops are Negan. And what did Negan do? He kept away all the walkers. He made it so that society could rebuild. He was a policeman in that time. So it's very interesting. And I've actually had debates with people online, Brother John more specifically, about whether Negan was a good guy or whether Negan was a bad guy. Because you could argue that, you know, Rick basically being like this classical liberal hippie motherfucker saying, we want to have freedom, we want to be free. I'm like, well, you are free, just play by the rules. That's all you got to do. And to go into this whole, you know, notion of how everything's falling apart, the only people who benefit from this country falling apart are the Chinese and every enemy of the United States. You know, that's something you have to understand. And to go into the whole, you know, the right is too autistic thing, look at the original Walking Dead. You had that character who was in The Punisher, right? I don't know the actor's name, but I always thought he was kind of a weirdo. I don't like him because I just don't like the way he looks. And it's kind of fucked up and shallow of me, but that's how I kind of sometimes work. If I don't like the way you look, I'll just stay away from you. I won't watch your stuff. And I know it's not a racist thing. It's I don't like being around ugly people. It's something that I have a very bad issue in that regard. But the actor from who played Shane was somebody who really did get it. He got the idea of where he was at in the particular. He adapted very well to the apocalypse. Okay, there is a certain sense of we don't want to go around shooting everything and you know starting hell and looting fucking you know Target and shit like that. We don't want to do that. But you know this is something where Wolf and Prepper actually sent me this, and I actually want to talk about it because we'll go into it. The Louisville Protest. So this is where BLM came in, and they were held back by a guy with a gun because these communists fold. Luke, these fucking commie bastards fold when you point a gun. Because here's the thing: none of them want to be a hero. None of them want to be a hero, right? Here you go, Luke. You can play this. Yeah, I got to turn off ad block, by the way. Tense moment between the Louisville protesters and a gun-carrying restaurant patron. Tense moment between the protesters and the gun-carrying restaurant patron at La Chase restaurant in the Highlands on Sunday in Louisville. You can read this, Luke, if you want. Where the hell is it? Hang on, 1 second. Where the fuck? There's no. Yeah.
Just move along.
What type of gun does he have, by the way?
I can't tell. What is that?
Is it a revolver?
It's a little bitty. It's like a really small thing. It's almost like a Derringer. See, I can't.
Well, you know, I think it was. I think it was fucking. What the hell's his name? I think it was. Yeah, it was Wolfman Pepper who said this, but apparently, like, they're like. Usually, he said that like if you have one gun, it could hold back 10 people. But apparently, there's enough people there that they can just rush his ass and he would get killed.
Oh, there's a gun. There's some guns.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And of course, they're holding them back. But these fucking. Oh my God! Look at that. Look, Shaniqua right back there. She wants them. She wants to go after fucking Guy Fieri right there. Holy shit. And again, it's just a fucking video, which really pisses me off. NAA Pug, a non-aggression principle pug. I don't know what that is. What's a pug?
It's a very ugly dog.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a North American. I know what you're talking. Yeah, I could have picked this up. Is that what you were saying this gun was? It was a the 22 Derringer. Yeah, that can hold back the communists. I'm pretty sure my M1 carbine looks like a fucking 50 BMG to these people. I mean, if he's holding people back with a fucking little Derringer, and he's keeping them back, I guarantee you. Wow. Oh, let me see. He sent me some things. Let me take a look into this. Oh, he's carrying the North American Arms Pug.
Ah,
yeah, I know
what that is.
Yeah, fires 22 Magnum. I actually have. I can go pick one of those up. And
22 Magnum.
No, it's not gonna do jack shit unless you shoot him in the head. Like the only reason I would carry that is to have a pocket pistol on me. And then, of course, they have this fat bitch right there in the fucking, I guess, a Kevlar vest. Yeah, and they're telling him to back the fuck up. He says, no, I'm not going to back up. And again, that's all you need. And again, he only has 6 shots in that thing, maybe 5, depending on what he's actually carrying on him. But he's holding those motherfuckers back, and I might actually get one of those at some point, Again, reloading sucks. Of course, this bitch is fucking taking pictures like that's going to do something, and this cunt's just trying to back everybody down. And again, I have to say this. The people are going to protect this country. I really do feel like we're in the end, like the middle part of the Dark Knight. We really are. Like, the Dark Knight with the whole Bane, right? Mm-hmm. Bane takes over. And that's sort of what's happening. And then what happens in the end of the Dark Knight, right? All the cops back Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I think it's going to happen. And it's going to be beautiful. Because I am not in the mood to go kill people. But if it gets to the point where they need to call, they need to call the militia, I will fucking answer. Only if they call, though. I'm not going to volunteer. Only if they call me. If they call me, I will answer the call of duty. Black Ops 4. Not explained. No, but I will answer the call of duty. If they need me, I will come. Wolfman Pepper says they only hold 5 and they are a pain to reload. Get a Sidewinder or Ranger. I think I actually can get the Wrangler. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm not gonna link you to my gun shop because again, they have their own way of doing things, and I don't want to. As much as I want to advertise for them, I don't think they would agree with half of my posts. They would not agree with it, but like I would get the Wrangler 22 as a single action, or let's see, it's a double trigger revolver 22 Magnum.
Is this it?
But that would be it. Yeah, I think that would be it. But again, the gun that I want, and I'll send it to you. This is what I want to get because I do know there's a reciprocity bill currently being pushed through Congress when it comes to concealed carry. This is the gun that I want. All right, here, so I can find a picture of it for you. Here you go, Luke.
Ooh, that could be pretty dangerous.
What?
5 little shots, bam.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use every single one. I want to have something like this. And this is what I want for my concealed carry. CC83 in a 45 AC, not 45. CC83 and 38 AC, 380 ACP or 9mm Browning. This is the gun that I want. This is my concealed carry gun. That's what I would choose.
Nice.
Fuck you. I don't know why anyone's contacting my ass. But yeah, that's what I would be using. I'd be using that, and I would be, allowing, that would be my concealed carry. I'd have that in a holster draw for my in my coat pocket, because that's sort of like what that is. It's not a Derringer, but it definitely is a pocket pistol. This is the gun that you take to church with you. It never jams, it never fucks up because it's a Makarov. It's a Makarov variant. I would definitely pick one of those up, and they're like $300. They're actually cheap pistols to get. I'd recommend people get those. I actually been on the, how should you say it, the I forgot, the NAA's offers rear sights now. Really? That's pretty badass. I might actually pick one of those. Well, I'm not gonna pick everything up. There are a lot of things I want to get, but I would definitely pick that up. I would pick up this is the one I'm going to get next. This is my next pistol. If I get another pistol, either it be a 22, it will definitely be this. Because I've been on I've told people I've been on the receiving end of this before, and it's not fun. Let me just say that. But we're going to move on, because we have a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, this fucking witch. So Tim Pool had this cunt on. We're going to talk about this real quick, because I really do think that Tim Pool is trying his hardest to play both sides of the game, not realizing that the only way you can beat these people is if you defeat their logical presuppositions. Meaning that you have to expect
more than 700 miles an hour. So at close range like this, the force is going to take you off your feet for sure, but it's really no more painful than a punch in the chest.
Why are you getting punched in the chest?
You're going to be fine, baby doll.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is that from fucking Kick-Ass?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I can't remember what that actress's name is, but I kept hearing a lot of people back in the day talk about how she was going to be the next big thing. Oh, she's going to be awesome and all this crap.
Chloe Morris.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened to her.
Oh, I don't know what happens to actors anymore, because they're just too irrelevant these days.
Yeah.
And the movies are just irrelevant because you just can't follow anything.
No, dude. I don't watch movies anymore. I was thinking about watching Logan's Run with you. Have you ever seen Logan's Run?
I have, very recently.
Really recently? Really?
Well, the first time I saw it was like a year ago.
Oh. Well, I think it's one of those few movies that millennials need to take a look into. I just turned 30, which means I'm going to be renewed by Carnival, probably. So, or Carnival or Carousel? It was Carousel.
Oh yeah, she's Chloe Grace Morris. She was the voice of Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family animated movie, and apparently they're gonna make a sequel.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, she was in Tom and Jerry movie. What else has she been in? Gaslight TV series. Anything? What? Greta. Oh yeah, that weird suspense thrill, which I never followed. It's really hard. Maybe it's just because I'm in my 30s, but I just don't care about movies now.
Yeah, dude. Same here. I don't know what happened to me, but I definitely just stopped watching movies. Probably because they cost money and they take time. I don't want to go to the movies. Let me just say this: I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch TV, so I don't get to see the advertisements. And I don't get to see advertisements on TV, but I don't get to see them because of ad block. So I don't get to see what's happening. You know, so if there's a new movie out that's really good, I'd never see it. I never get to see it.
And I have the worst of it. Like, I want to go to the movie theater to see animated movies, but they don't show them anymore. They're on streaming services like Netflix or Disney Plus. I don't want to pay a subscription to Disney Plus.
Yeah. Triple X says, I just remembered Last American Virgin had some nudity and sex scenes. The actors and actresses are legal of age. Or of legal age? Okay, that's good. Were they at the time? I hope they were. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really concerned about it. I'm just going to delete it afterwards. Like, I'll stream it, but then I'll nuke it on this channel. Because I could get a hit on this channel, that's fine. I'll just make another fucking YouTube channel. Because at this point, if people want to follow me, they can follow me. If they don't, they don't. You know, that's how this works. But I might have to go down and pick up my dinner soon. Because it's coming in DoorDash. But, let's see. We go for 45 minutes. We'll go for about maybe a couple more minutes. Let me see if I can get the information in. Let's see if I can get the information here. What else do we have here to talk about besides Sargon being black-pilled and the whole Louisville protesters? Oh, yes. Count Chocula.
Who?
We got to talk about him. Oh, this guy. Now, you guys bash... I know that it's a archetype. Let's see.
Who is the man who knew communism best?
Yeah, let me. Can I go down and get my dinner real quick? I'll be right back. Play this real quick.
I'll play this.
I like his cape. I just want to say I saw his cape, stayed for his cape, liked the lecture. Play it.
Friends, a week or two ago we asked for suggestions of subjects and personalities which we might discuss on this show. One little girl wrote in from Akron, Ohio, and she said, "I don't care what you talk about as long as you keep on talking." And that can prove very dangerous because some years ago, on the way back from Europe, a steward came out on the deck of the ship one night and he said, "Are you the one who preached sermon at St. Patrick's Cathedral such and such a time?" "Yes." He said, "My, that was a wonderful sermon. Wonderful. I enjoyed every minute of that hour and a half." I said, "My good man, I never talked an hour and a half in my life." Well, he said, "It seemed that long to me."
That's fantastic.
Well, tonight we're going to discuss a very remarkable man of literature. The man who foresaw communism and who understood it better than many who have lived through it. And his name, it has, we should mention, some alternate spellings. Theodore.
Yeah, capes are so cool. We should be people of. I mean, I know it's only a position thing that can only be worn by clergy or royalty, but so they're just cool.
Dostoevsky. Born in 1821 in Moscow. Father was a doctor in one of the poor hospitals in Moscow. Father was not very kind to the family, nor to the peasants when he bought a farm. The peasants later on killed him. But the son lived from 1821 to 1881. In that relatively short span of life, had three great creative moments. First creative moment of Fyodor Dostoevsky, when he learned the meaning of freedom. Those were days when students were rather radical, and young Dostoevsky belonged to a radical group as he was studying engineering, though he always loved literature. And he was interested not in the German philosophers, as many were at the time, Saint-Simon, Fourier, and others. He wanted to establish some kind of a system where there would be no marriage, no private property, but some weird kind of socialism. And kings and czars were jittery in those days. In the year 1848, Louis Philippe was the last king of France. He lost his throne. Nicholas I was afraid of losing his. So when he heard of this young group of revolution...
Uh-oh. What happened to the video?
Peter and Paul. Queer name for a prison. So it was. And then after several months in jail, on the 22nd day of December, 1849, 20 youths were led up on a platform in Skomorsky Square of St. Petersburg. There were lines of 10. Dostoevsky was sixth in the second line. The sheriff mounted the platform. He walked to each of them. He gave the sentence of the court. Condemned to death. Condemned to death. Condemned to death. 20 men, 20 minutes to wait for death. Dostoevsky nudged someone alongside of him. There was a cart down below. 20 coffins in it, black cloth over the coffins. The temperature, 20 degrees below zero. They were stripped of all their clothing except a shirt. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. Dostoevsky looked up and the sun was just coming through the clouds. It began reflecting itself against the dome of a church.
I'm back.
And he said, in 5 minutes, I will be where the source of all that light is. And then, 1 minute more, and he said, oh, if I could only live. What an eternity of days would be mine. And how I would treasure each moment. And at that moment, a soldier came across the yard waving.
Yeah, I get that.
So I take it like Fulton Sheen then.
Like herrings in a barrel.
I like his aura that he projects. It's really engaging, and I like his cape.
You like his cape too.
I just like capes in general.
Nah, cloaks, capes. Yeah, capes beat cloaks any day. I don't know. Like, I know there was a freaking Canadian that wanted to sell cloak. What did he want to sell? Capes or cloaks? I can't remember off the top of my head. What did he really want to sell? He wanted to sell cloaks, right?
I guess.
I don't know, but I do know this. Unless you're a bishop, which this guy is a bishop, by the way. He was a bishop. This guy's gonna get canonized. Canonized. He's gonna become a saint. But yeah, he really was like one of the good people who actually fought communism. Torrents plus DVDs over cables and theaters. Yeah. No, I fundamentally agree with you. Here's the issue, though. I can't find a good torrent site anymore. XXX. I can't do it. I just can't find it anymore. I'm sorry, man. It sucks. But yeah, I did get my meal, by the way. My meal's finally here, and it's a bit cold, but I didn't really have much to. Well, again, apparently the call that was contacting me was my DoorDash guy, but I don't care. So what was he talking about? Why do we have Solzhenitsyn up here? Or what's his name? I'm trying to think. Is that Dostoevsky?
Yeah.
That's Dostoevsky. Why do we have Dostoevsky up here again?
Because he's the man who knew communism best.
Oh. So
create a social system that exists in the land where he lived. Churchill describes that land as the dividing of it as the Iron Curtain. That description would never satisfy Dostoevsky. Why? Why? Because the Iron Curtain is from our side, the comfortable side, the side of real freedom, looking up against something opaque. When you pass through Siberia and see evil such as Dostoevsky saw, that description would never fit it. And so in Letters from the Underworld, he describes the new race of men and what it means to live under this type of man. And he describes it as the mouse facing the wall.
if you like cartoons, watch cartoons online. I know what you're talking about, dude. That's fine. I've used it before. It's just that I don't want to get popped on Twitter or on streams. Now, I will say this, though. This is something that was explained to me. OnlyFans, of all the things, they allow copyright material for you to stream shit on OnlyFans. So, what I'm thinking of starting my OnlyFans so that way we can do all the riffs and stuff on OnlyFans. All you gotta do is pay $1. Or 50, or what the minimum amount will be. And you could join me and we could watch some shit together and we could fucking talk about it. I will say this, it won't be Coonskin. We're not going to do any more Ralph Bakshi for a while unless I watch it ahead of time. Because I don't want to put Luke's Teflon soul to the test. Again, I'm willing to go to hell. I just don't want to drag people with me. Does that make any sense? Again, I'm willing to, to pay the price, but I don't want others to pay the price for me. It's my soul. I get to do what I want with it. And I don't want others to suffer with me. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, again, Fulton Sheen. I discovered this guy when I was just drunk and looking through YouTube, and I'm like, the fuck is this guy? And apparently I found his archive, and there's a lot of his crap out there. I'd recommend people look, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, look into it. I came for the Cape, I stayed for the lecture. That's what I told my godparents. They were laughing their ass off. I mean, look at him. He has like that. He has like a fucking like Caesar type of look on him, like he's talking to the Senate or some shit. I mean, look at him. Look at him. It's fucking badass. I don't know if you have the but OnlyFans dashing. I don't know if you have the but OnlyFans dashing. I don't have it. I don't have an OnlyFans yet, but I'm gonna make one. I think I might make an OnlyFans specifically so we can watch copyright material. Because let's be frank with ourselves, everyone's becoming a whore. Oh, look, he brought his own picture to the thing also. Badass. That's like the only picture of Dostoevsky. Wouldn't it be funny if Dostoevsky was actually like some sort of like KGB like front or something? You didn't actually exist? I don't know. All I know is that Fulton Sheen's a pretty good guy, and maybe he'll be the filler for the foreseeable future, I should say. We're gonna move on to something else. So Tim and the Witch.
Oh, is that what that was? Like who do you bring on?
What? Fulton Sheen? Oh, he brought on this fucking feminist who's basically talking, what he's trying to desperately do, Luke, is he's trying to like bridge the divide that exists in this country, which I have respect for him in that regard, but you don't call yourself a journalist, Tim. You're not a journalist anymore. You are now a commentator, a data aggregator at best, but you are not a journalist anymore, Tim.
First story, which, look, we're going to get into the census stuff for sure, but we're going to chill and we're going to talk about some of an article you wrote 4 years ago, Melanie. So we have this from the New York Post. Childish men are to blame for women having kids late in life. I wonder if that made men really angry. At men or at you? But just explain, what is this article about?
So, as we know, generally the writer doesn't actually write the headline, so I would just like to say it, or add the photo. That was not the point of the piece. The point of the piece is to say that Pew Research had new data that found that women are much more focused on marriage and parenthood than men are, and also more focused on career than men are. And women have to know that they may not find them.
This is the fucking cunt you meet at Trader Joe's. This is the bitch you meet at Whole Foods. This is the bitch you meet at Sprouts. She's the bagging lady. Look at her. You can see it in her eyes. Look at that. But keep playing it, Luke.
Man that they want to be with as soon as they want to be with him, and that they need to consider whether they want to look at their fertility, freeze their eggs, consider, now these are not, I haven't frozen my eggs, I didn't freeze my eggs. Maybe they want to think about having a baby on their own and save up for that. Maybe they want to save up for IVF. So that was what the piece was about. It was never about making men feel like they are not worthy of women.
How did that come about then? How did they make your article about that?
Because that's how headlines work. I mean,
is it because men, by virtue of what you're saying, they conclude that men aren't focused on family and career enough, so they're calling them childish men? Was it a dude editor who was like, these men are losers?
No, and I love my editor. My editor is amazing. No, but some men did certainly get upset. In fact, there was one that decided we needed like a Talmudic treatise on this. It was an hour-long opinion piece on how I was.
Back up. What did she say? What did she say? Back it up.
On this was an hour-long, opinion piece on how I was wrong, even though he was talking about the data that is Pew Research data. It did upset a lot of men, and that frankly upset me because I actually love men and I love boys, and I'm a champion of
a Talmudic treatise. So let me get this straight. Now, again, I know there are a lot of people in the comments on this video talking about how she's a fucking witch and she's a fucking horrible person, but we know what the Talmud is. The Talmud is basically just a bunch of case law lawyers talking shit to each other and yelling across time to try to say, you're wrong! That's basically what it is. But again, I'm getting sick and tired of I'll just say it. I don't want a handout. I simply want the people who had a handout to lose their handout and to be acknowledged as the fakes that they are and the charlatans they are. I want it so that, the black guy who went to college and got in there because he's black. And yes, there are people in the world who have gone to college simply because they're black. Go look up, there was an Indian guy who he had the best scores. He was a person of color, whatever you want to call it. And all he did was change he got rejected from Harvard. I think it was either Harvard or Yale, one of these big schools, right? One of the Seven Sisters, I guess. And he got in when he changed his name and he said, I'm African American, and he shaved his head, he basically masqueraded as a black man, he got in. That's not right. It doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're trying to look more Asian, trying to look more, a certain ethnicity. It doesn't matter. Whoever got in deserves to be kicked out. That's what I want. And I want people who have gotten, ahead because of their race, their color, their creed, things that shouldn't really matter. I want them to lose. I don't want to be given an opportunity because I'm white. I don't want that. I want the motherfucker who got in to college or a higher echelon position to lose that position and make him start from the bottom. Now, obviously, you can't take away someone's work experience, but you can definitely take away someone's fucking credentials. I think you should take away their credentials and invalidate them, so you can't come into college ever again. Don't you ever fucking lie about what's true and what's right, That's how I would do it. But this fucking cunt, there's just all this talk about how, women can bring men to their knees and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, we don't need any more help from women. We don't need any help from men. We just need to stop enabling this stuff, and everything will equalize afterwards. That's all you gotta do, Anyhow, Luke, you have anything else?
I was looking for a clip, and now I lost it. I know it. Here's a nice little clip I could pull out.
You want to tell me that Joe Biden is the most popular president in history or whatever, and Donald Trump had higher approval ratings in his speech? Get out of here with your stupid polling garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, to today's guys, I have not been on my A game because I've just been, out. I've been out and about, and I've had a lot of stuff I had to do this week, so I've been very, very. I've just been out, But I will end it on this, and this is something that I think that I can agree with Styx on. This is something he talked about. He talks about how neopaganism is not a real term. But yeah. Anyhow, next week we'll have something. Next week we're going to go into Albert Anton Wilson. I'll just say that because I'm going to actually, I'm actually going to do it this time. Yep.
Promised that I would make this video the other day. Here's the thing. Paganism is not necessarily the most meaningful term to begin with. I can pick that apart separately as well. But when people say like I'm a neo-pagan, usually what they mean is that they're a hippie. It's basically religion for the Hot Topic generation. I got a Thor's hammer made in China, and I kind of like this folk metal band, and so I must be an Odinist now. Now that's the other problem with the term pagan in general, but pagan is an authentic term. Usually, if it's in U.S. or Europe parlance, you're talking about Norse paganism. People who follow more like the Greek or Roman style of paganism tend to use the term Hellenist or something akin to it. If they follow Egyptian paganism, I'm not sure they necessarily use the term pagan. I'm a devotee of Amon-Ra or something. And of course, technically the term pagan also encompasses, it tends to be used if it's outside of the mainstream of the current Judeo-Christian religion that happens to be dominant in your area. Hinduism is kind of sort of a pagan way as well. And of course, you have a million sub-schools. The problem with using the term pagan in and of itself at all is that it doesn't necessarily have any larger meaning. It means I'm spiritual without being a Jew, a Christian, or a Muslim, essentially. If it's used by people in America, that tends to be the common usage. But it doesn't tell you anything meaningful.
No, it doesn't. Muslims are pagans too, buddy. I hate to say it. Anybody who's not from Abraham is not a fucking is a pagan, essentially. And the Hellenistic pagans are fucking pagans as well. But in any case, I think we're gonna end it here because I've just been I didn't really prepare. I wanted to do a live stream just because I had to do a live stream.
Oh yeah, one more clip I wanted to share.
All right, one more thing. Go on.
Like our impact on the planet might be such a great filter is not a new idea. What it might take to solve it is the topic of Bill Gates's how to avoid a climate disaster. And I decided to do this video in partnership with him and his team because the way we deal with hyper objects reveals a lot about the mind. It's easy and common to think that we would all be better off if everyone was just more rational, right? But what if reasoning wasn't built for what we've become?
No, well, actually, no. You know what? This is actually something that's interesting. Continue. Please continue. I want to hear what you asked about this.
Let's begin by looking at behavioral inertia. Behavioral inertia is the tendency to keep doing what you're already doing, status quo bias. It can be a frustrating bias if you desire change, but its origin isn't a flaw. If an organism has managed to survive long enough to reproduce and provide and care for its offspring, then the state of its world was sufficient for its genes to spread. That's all it takes to persist. The types of organisms we see around us will naturally be those that managed to persist and didn't, after reaching that point, rock the boat too much. So behavioral inertia can help slow down the accumulation of unintended consequences and the loss of ideas that work. but it can also slow down innovation and adaptation. If the environmental impacts of our society were more immediate and unignorable, it wouldn't be so tempting to apply this inertial brake. But emissions are invisible, and their consequences aren't immediate or local. They impact future people, and people far away, those who are different from us, poorer than us, people we will never meet. This may be one of the first challenges advancing civilizations face, wielding not just the power of technology and distributed cognition, but also the responsibilities. Extending the mind is really cool, but whether or not a species can extend...
Hang on, isn't this like the butterfly effect shit? Like, isn't it like some businessman in China spends 50 yuan on, like, let's say an electronic, and then some fucking Indian guy in Belarus starts crying or something?
No, that's not the point.
I mean that's what that is, because he's basically working with Bill Gates now, right?
Yeah,
Which,
he made this video for the whole climate disaster, and it's, I mean, Vsauce is always a great in presenting these arguments and these ideas about logic and reasoning, and it is raising a point of how people it's a very naturalistic explanation of why we don't agree on everything, even if the facts are right in front of us, because that's just not how we function. But it's pretty much like Bill Gates, like it's an attempt to try to unify us all into a common identity, or at least give a naturalistic explanation on how we can unify ourselves.
Well, it's not just it's
or rather to socialize ourselves, if you want to put it in more divisive language.
He's not wrong about the whole. He's not wrong about the whole rationality thing. I mean, I don't believe in rationality anymore. I think rationality is just a tool. You could rationalize, right? But you can't. But one of the biggest things you have to understand is that we were never meant to be rational. Rationality is a tool. I'm more of a Kahneman and Kaspersky biases and heuristics kind of guy. I believe that we have adapted to this planet with a certain level of biases and heuristics. Oh, it tastes bad, spit it out. Oh, it tastes good, keep it. Oh, it smells bad, stay away from it. Oh, it's this. Again, our senses, while they may very well be not express the universe properly, they work good enough for us to thrive. So that was what I was going to get on here. But what does he have to say? The rest of this.
It's all preparation for a debate that never comes. We each play a very small role in deciding how society is run. Even if a good faith discussion between a representative slice of America came to a resolution, if nothing can come of it, why not just throw shade and sick burns, or revel in the pleasure of reasoning by treating everything like a big giant puzzle? It's easy to think that it doesn't matter. Because after all, those in charge, the brilliant scientists and powerful billionaires, will surely come to the rescue. Some giant techno-salvation is surely on the horizon. Perhaps it is. But everything we know about reason...
It is one good thing he recommends this, is rather have a lottery, what's the word he uses? Lotterocracy. Basically, we don't actually choose, we don't vote for our leaders, we just pull them randomly out of a hat.
Lotterocracy? No, I don't agree with it. Because even, let me just say this. Anytime I've been at like a school or a college get-together, or whether it be a church get-together, they have a raffle, I've noticed that the people who are usually the last guys to show up, who get a ticket, they put it into the drawing, whatever it's called, the drawing hat to be picked, they usually get picked. Like, if I show up first, I'm less likely to be picked than somebody who actually, has their ticket on top of the pile, than somebody who was just there and they're at the very bottom. So I don't trust that shit at all. So like, you could have some toddler fucking run society or something like that.
Here's the quote one of the quotes he ends on.
Aristotle explained that the appointment of magistrates by lot is thought to be democratic, and the election of them is oligarchic. An oligarchy is government by only a small number of people. Look, regardless of how reason is brought back to its social roots, if we can build more and better arenas for deliberation and use them to apply reason properly to hyper-objects like the impact of our emissions on the planet, we'll have taught one heck of a lesson to people 100, 1,000 years in the future. I like to...
A hyper-object? What the fuck is a hyper-object?
A hyper-object is basically like an event in history that unites us all.
I could have sworn hyper-object would have been something like something that transcends time and space and culture. Like the notion of a messiah, like a Jungian archetype.
Yeah, well, that's it's like an important paradigm shift, or an important focus, like a event in history, like a generation ago would have been like World War II or something.
So like an epoch. In a lot of ways, an epoch.
And yeah, they always say that like AOC always says like global warming is our World War III or our World War II, and we have to fight it in the next 12 years or so.
Oh, this fucking shit. I hate AOC. I'm getting fucking tired, man. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another. Take care of one another. Remember, saving the West is a side quest. We'll be back next Friday, and we're going to do, let's see, what did he say? We're going to do The Last American Virgin. We're going to do that for our Rift. And on Sunday night, we're going to do a thing about Robert Anton Wilson and the parallels between the Culture War, Meme War 1 and Meme War 2. And how this last meme war was an extension of the first one. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another. Take care of each other. Remember, saving the West is a side quest. This is the Digital Renegade Podcast out.